hear you've been invited to train with legend Isaiah White himself. Care to elaborate?
I want to be the GOAT.
Are you him?
Coach him up, Nick. Coach him up, Nick. Coach him up, Nick. Get your mind right.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Nicholas Davenport, aka Mr. Mental Muscle, and I'm here today with a new segment I'm calling Coach 'em Up, Nick. And this is about me using my experience as a mental coach who's worked with some of the world's top athletes, military, law enforcement, corporation, list goes on, but applying it to concepts that you see on social media, pro athletes, and just general pop culture where I can review it and give my take as if I was their mental coach. So today we're going to talk about a movie called Him. Now, Jordan Peele is a great comedian, hilarious, but his horror is on another level. He does it in a way where it gives social commentary, it gives analogies, parables, things that can paint themes where you'll be like, wow, that came out of left field. So I really love it. So this movie is about a quarterback who's going to the NFL, and he basically has to go through this rites of passage working with a legend to be him, as the title implies. So let's look at it, and I'm gonna give some themes. We'll look at the trailer because it doesn't come out until September, and I'll give you some insight on how I would coach him up.
Do I look at you or the camera?
You'll just look right at me. You'll just ignore the camera.
Okay.
There are a lot of people saying you could be the next great quarterback.
I can already see it now. Cam running down the tunnel with the crowd chanting his name.
I hear you've been invited to train with legend Isaiah White himself. Care to elaborate?
I want to be the GOAT. Cameron King. Great meeting you. I'm a fan. That's crazy. I damn near worshiped you growing up. Who are you?
Let's talk about that right there. He said he worshiped him growing up. Now, when I was an athlete, I always looked up to the top pros, whether it be football, track, or baseball. Those are my three sports. And I wanted to see it as, how can I be like them? And then when I got to high school, I said, how could I beat them? And they always say, never meet your heroes. And I'm sure in this movie, it's going to be interesting to see how that rites of passage of him learning from the GOAT. But obviously, it's a horror movie, so there's going to be a spin to it. But basically, don't have too much expectation because you're going to the next level. You should be ready for what that comes with. But if you over-prepare, overthink it, that's usually when you mess up. We have something we call cognitive load, where we think about all these things that go through our mind. And the more you attribute to that, the less we have to go to the task at hand. That's usually when people choke under pressure when it's in the game or make bad decisions off the field. So this is something to maybe think about.
You.
I'm him.
Who are you?
I'm him. My time.
Let's play a little catch. We going to the league! You want to play at your highest level? You want to be a legend? Because let me tell you something. This ain't a game. Who are they? Just gonna toss the ball around a little. You wanna hit this? You can't handle it. I understand. Shut up! Oh, too slow. Shut up! Wait, what are we doing? That man's smile about to be on the floor. This is how you do your teammate? What is this? Shut up!
Hold on. Let's talk about this. So first and foremost, I was talking about cognitive load. So Mind, Body, One, we do a lot of mental performance that revolves around doing cognitive performance, reaction time, decision-making. And that Drew was doing, we had the point. We do stuff like all that. I'll maybe even put an overlay of that happening where we do drills with athletes, especially football, where they have to make decisions quickly and react to whether it's the fit light system, whether it's the actual ball drill, whatever. So that's something we do, and it is necessary because you have to think under pressure. And that's not as easy as just saying be good at it. You have to put your brain under stress loads. You have to react quickly where other things are going on. Now, I want to talk about reinforcement because if you saw that, his teammate got busted in the face with the football machine. So reinforcement gets misconstrued a lot. So there's positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment. Now, what you just saw was not negative reinforcement. That was actually punishment. That's when you give something unwanted when something that is desired doesn't happen. In this case, he was doing the drill too slow. He punished his teammate. Boom, hits him in the face, point blank range, going probably 60 plus miles per hour. Now, positive reinforcement is when you get something that is desired for doing the required thing that they want. Now, negative reinforcement is something that gets misconstrued. This is, like I said, punishment, but negative reinforcement is usually conflated with punishment. That's when you take something away when you get the desired result. For example, if the coach says we have 10, 100-yard sprints, but if we could all run them in less than 15 seconds, by the fourth one, we only do 7. So you're taking away 3 total sprints, which doesn't mean you're taking away something that's going to be detrimental, but it's a reward to motivate them, because reinforcement is all about motivation and behavior change, right? Because if you do too much punishment, you're going to end up exhausting the people who can never get it, because you're going to be like, screw it, I'm just going to get punished. And the people who can get it are going to be faulted, because they're going to be like, well, I did good anyway, and I'm going to be faulted when I don't. That's not a good way. Now you have to balance positive, negative reinforcement where it makes sense. And that's a whole different kind of worms. But that's his take on it with the ball hitting him in the face is something else.
Enemies, set hard!
In this game, violence is rewarded, so learn to enjoy it.
Get your shit together!
Activate body.
Cam, are you okay?
I think something's off.
You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Now we playing some football!
Don't have to do this.
Activate body. I've never been more certain of anything in my life.
How bad do you want it? I know there's 2 Tupac songs we could talk about with this that isn't Hail Mary. All Eyes on Me, because he's the quarterback, top pick. Yeah, everyone's looking at him. But how do you want it? How bad do you want it? Another Tupac song, so don't mind me. But he wants to be the best no matter what. And you get into the things of how far are you willing to go? And this is outside of sports psychology. Machiavellianism, psychopathy, narcissism. These are traits needed to be a star athlete, let alone a star quarterback. We can talk about something called athletic identity. So, for example, athletic identity is how well you identify with being an athlete. The higher that is, the more likely you're going to be successful at the sport. But there's a diminishing return, meaning if you always want to practice, you always want to be around your teammates, you always want to learn about the game and get better. That's high athletic identity. So you can see why that's beneficial to being a great athlete. But the problem is what happens that if you have too much, you don't really have a life outside of that sport. I've had athletes where I've coached up and said, hey, what do you do for a hobby or for fun? And they'll be like, oh, train, study film, or be another sport. Or I like to play basketball instead of football. And that's fine. But it's like, what separates you from athlete you and you? Because there's this gray area, but oftentimes athletes, especially at the higher level, it gets interwoven. So they're one and the same. And this is a problem because if you're so caught up in being an athlete, you think that doing bad at the sport means you did bad at life. So losing a game, having a bad day, and the team, all those dynamics now spill over to your regular life. Now you think you're a bad person or not good enough in just existing. And you can see why there's higher depression rates in athletes when that happens. So this is something when I coach people up, I say, try to find at least one thing that has nothing to do with sport. That's the simplest way to do it.
And how bad does Cameron Cade want it?
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
I'm not just gonna give it to you. You got to take it from me.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me.
What if I say no?
Run. Think of it as a gift from the God.
Killer, but don't push me.
I'm assuming, like I said, this is just a trailer. There's going to be some, the elements of some occult type of stuff, gift from the guys. If you know Jordan Peele, he puts a lot of twists on things where you're like, oh, wow, that made sense at the end. So I'm curious because pro athletes are a real thing. So that's why I say his horror is realistic horror. It's like, say, the movie Midsommar. These are things that can really happen, and that's what makes it even scarier, I think, in my opinion. Like that super demonic, out-the-box stuff, you can say is scary, but when it's like, this is something someone can really do, it kind of gets to you. So, yeah, this movie comes.
So what are you willing to sacrifice?
I love it. That was a great trailer. The him, the little arms up. Are you him? Nah, but anyway, so being him, like I said, this term is in culture, is about being the best, demeanor, being talented. Obviously, you got to have the talent. So when you're him, you have all the above. You check all the boxes. Guys want to be you. Girls want to be with you. Him. And as a pro athlete, especially a quarterback, and presumably he's a number 1 pick or something like that, so much is coming towards him. Now, as a coach, first and foremost, he needs to work on that reaction time. He's a quarterback. He has to think fast, taking information. Oh, that route's dead over there. What do I have on the right side? Is it a post? Is it a corner route? Do I have someone coming across the middle? Do I just take it and run? Got to think fast. From the athletic identity side, he needs to be able to say, okay, I got to be great. I'm fine with that. That's never an issue with me and clientele. But the point is, you can't just only be that. You got to find ways to decompress out of that, because before you know it, the time will end, whether it's a few years, a full 15, 20-year career, or tomorrow. And when it ends, you need to be ready to be you for the rest of your life. I always say athlete dies twice, but you got to be ready for that first funeral. So that being said, I think I'll go with the reinforcements. You guys got to be able to balance that well, because like I said, when you're coaching someone up, you can't always give them a reward because it'll extinguish the desire. Because like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to get it anyway. But you can't always punish. So you have to find that middle ground between giving the desired outcomes and rewards, giving punishments where maybe they didn't do it, but have a higher threshold for that. Don't make it for the simplest things. And then basically for the negative reinforcement, do that every now and then, not always, because you don't always be taking things away because like, oh, we're never going to finish the workout anyway. We're never going to get the full experience anyway, because they're going to be like, so let's screw it. Let's not work hard, because changing behavior and getting the desired result is about that. So first episode doing this, I'm going to do many more. If you want, send some topics in the comment that you want me to cover. They could be current, they could be old, but the goal is for me to coach them up.